The conflict in the Middle East growing in size and scope. Israel and the United States continue to strike Iran in a campaign that President Trump now says could last several weeks.
And those strikes over the weekend killed Iran's supreme leader and more than 550 Iranian citizens. The conflict has also claimed the lives of 4 American soldiers who were killed in action. Iran has retaliated with missiles and drones targeting Israel, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan, and several of Iran's proxies like Hezbollah also attacking U.S. assets in the area. According to the White House, the strikes were ordered on Iran after they refused to say that they will not have or develop nuclear weapons.
Conflict having some wide-reaching effects now. A local Iranian woman speaking out with what she's hearing from her family that still lives in the country. And
WSAV's Jillian Coles is joining us now to tell us what she has to say about U.S. military action.
Tina, Andrew, a second-generational Iranian woman going by the pseudonym Rojin says the Iranian people are dancing through the streets and rejoicing after the strikes. She says they're celebrating the chance to have the soul of the nation back in their hands. Rojin says calls have been limited to the family in Iran and phone lines have been cut going into the country. When her mother-in-law, who lives in Iran, does get through to her, Rojin says she's asking when the help will arrive and telling her people in Iran are dying. She says she's never felt more helpless in her life until Saturday night, when she says everything was different. She received a phone call from her mother-in-law, whose tone of voice was no longer fearful, but joyful, saying the strikes had begun.
Just wanted to say thank you to our American servicemen and pilots who are over there, because you need to know that you've saved a lot of lives, and there are people inside the country who are seeing the regime's repression machine that was bombed and now unable to hurt them, and they're screaming out and saying thank you Israel and thank you America.
Rojin says she's spoken to the others who also have family in Iran, and they say the same. The people in Iran are thanking America and Israel. Jillian Coles, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Jillian, thanks so much. We will have much more about the situation in Iran, including the first comments made by White House officials on the conflict. We're also going to take a closer look at the history of exactly how we got to this point. That's coming up at News 3 at 4:30. And to keep up with the latest in this quickly evolving conflict, remember to visit WSAV.com/Iran.
Dr. Linda Davis, a beloved Savannah teacher, was killed when a vehicle fleeing immigration authorities crashed into her car last month. Today, her family members say that not for how she died, but for the love and joy she shared with everyone who she knew. WSAV's Nakia Harris is here to tell us more about her life and legacy.
That's right, Tina. Linda Davis was more than a teacher. She was a guiding light for her family, including her wife of 4 years, her sister, and students. Her family says what they want people to remember most is the love she shared and the lives she touched. Her wife, Consuela Davis, says Linda had a way of making everyone feel seen and cared for at home, in her classroom, and everywhere in between. Her family says it wasn't just what she did, but the love, laughter, and gentle spirit she brought to every person around her. They say she had a smile that could brighten a room, a laugh that was contagious, and a voice that carried joy wherever she went.
Linda was the only parent I have ever seen that could talk to 5 children at one time and still hold my hand. And you know, the kids are calling, one is in the room or 2 are in the room, 1 is on the phone, and she's nurturing everybody and still holding my hand. That's the kind of person Linda was.
And her family tells me they want people to remember how she lived for unity and unconditional love, seeing the similarities that bring us together rather than the differences that divide us. Nakia Harris, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Nakia, thanks so much. Savannah police now investigating a shooting that left 1 man injured at the intersection of Lavinia and Hardin Street. Now, according to SPD, the officer responded to a shot spotter around 11:15 Sunday evening. After patrolling the area, officers found the victim inside a car near West Victory Drive and Martin Luther King Boulevard. His injuries are believed to be non-life threatening. This is an ongoing investigation.
A Statesboro apartment complex offering a large reward for information that will lead to the arrest and conviction of suspects involved with an auto break-in. This happened last week. The lodge is offering a $10,000 reward in search of 3 suspects. Surveillance video shows 3 forcibly entering a vehicle on February 23rd. A Statesboro Police Department Captain Jared Akins says the trio stole personal property from a tenant. Akins adds that he believes the large reward is being offered because of a recent property ownership change.
The owner of this property is a new owner. He's recently purchased it and basically just wants to, I think, make a statement to the public that those kind of activities and that kind of behavior is just not going to be tolerated under the new management there.
Akins says anyone with information should contact Detective Hardin at 912-764-9911 or by simply sending an anonymous tip to the Statesboro PD website.
Fire crews responded to a house fire earlier today right in Savannah on the 1400 block of Newcastle Street. Now, according to Savannah Fire, crews got to the incident just before 11:40 this morning. You can see video from the Savannah Fire Department showing those crews on the scene. Officials say the residence on fire producing some heavy smoke. 2 people at the house in the house at the time of the fire were seen by EMS. Another has been displaced. Officials say that fire was out by 12:04. SFD still investigating the cause of this blaze.
The Hilton Head Island Airport keeps growing and improving, and now they are flying high with a brand new tower system.
That state-of-the-art equipment designed to make things safer for travelers and ground crews, too. It's called the UAVonics Flight Line Position Reference Tool. It's a long name for a new awareness system for the air traffic control tower. Before, air traffic controllers didn't have specific tools to be able to watch and talk to the 80 flights or more coming in and out of the airport every day. Now they have real-time monitoring of each plane takeoff, landing, and position in case of a small issue, mistake, or question.
Pilots report their position or speed not completely accurately. They just maybe a little bit off. That can make a difference. Maybe not for a single airplane, but in busy airspace, that makes a difference. Now these controllers can see anything like that develop before it becomes an issue, and they can talk to folks and say, hey, you know, here's what's going on, here's where you really are located, and here's something you may need to think about.
The airport tower now on the ground floor nationwide when it comes to using this new system, but they may not be flying alone soon. The FAA now determining if that equipment will be provided to all smaller airports in the nation, and federal dollars could then pay for it.
Reverend Jesse Jackson is in his home state of South Carolina today for one final time. He's lying in state at the Capitol. Jackson, a civil rights leader and 2-time presidential candidate, died February 17th at the age of 84. He led the U.S. civil rights movement for decades and worked with other key leaders like the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This morning, his casket arrived at the South Carolina State House on horse-drawn procession. Jackson was brought inside the State House to the 2nd floor, and you can see people packed under the rotunda for a ceremony before being invited in to pay their final respects and remember the great leader who fought for the needs and rights of the underrepresented.
I remember the great speech in the 80s, and the Keep Hope Alive, and how it, you know, it was another moment of feeling proud to be a black woman. And I was so saddened when I heard about him passing, because we're losing all of our icons.
The services are part of 2 weeks of events that started with Jackson's body lying in repose. He's the second black man to lie in state at South Carolina's Capitol. State Senator Clemente Pinckney was honored in 2015 after he was shot and killed in the Charleston church shooting, Mother Emanuel Church, in fact. Now, after South Carolina, Jackson will be returned to Chicago. A large celebration of life gathering will be held at a mega church, the final homegoing services at the headquarters of Rainbow Push. Plans for that service in Washington, D.C. to honor him have been postponed to a later date. Mayor Van Johnson has ordered all U.S. and city flags to be flown. That's the city flags here, also the U.S. flags here, to be flown at half-staff this week. Now, the proclamation returns and runs until sunset Saturday, honoring civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson. And Mayor Johnson, who also serves as president of the African American Mayors Association, is asking other mayors and governors all across the country to do the same.
Now, Time Saver Traffic, sponsored by Arrowhead Clinic, the accident doctors, where it pays to get well.
Taking a look at traffic on Georgia 204. No issues in town. Of course, Duran and Victory have their difficulties as usual this time of day. Around King George, you notice the slowdown, speeds down to about 25 miles per hour, and honestly, even less than that if you're heading westbound towards Richmond Hill. No major issues I can find other than Georgia 21 essentially being slow from the Deloach Parkway up into near Rankin area and your typical congestion along 95. Things look good in the low country at this time, and no major issues other than the construction at the Savannah River. Hardeeville to Savannah along Highway 17. Each direction, and back to Savannah as well, about 15 minutes. And if you are heading out of town as a whole, no major delays to report.